Good evening, Twitter. Wanted to take this opportunity to go live tonight before I did anything else. Been trying to do it all evening, and the internet has been going in and out in my area, and so I had to say it was impossible to do a live stream. But I did not want the night to go by without coming on live and talking about one of the news events of the day. As you can tell by the title of the live tweet, you know what I'm going to be talking about. That's not the only major event of the day. Here in Texas, as you know, Attorney General Ken Paxton's impeachment trial is going on and moving along moderately, I think. I've been trying to watch it in bits and pieces of it, and but I mean, this is a process that's going to take time. So once it's gotten down the road a bit, maybe I'll come back and touch on the topic at hand. Right now, there's been a lot of rigmarole in the impeachment trial with them trying to suppress evidence and whatnot, and I'm going to wait until it plays out a little bit more before I say anything. But I do want to address the main event that occurred today, and that was the Border Buoy lawsuit. The Border Buoy lawsuit, basically the Department of Justice sued Texas because they installed the border buoys and razor wire without permission. In reading the injunction, I am amazed slightly in the fact that the the injunction was direct and to the point, and it confirms what I have been saying all along. If you've been following my tweets, the last tweets, that I've spoken about this subject, I tweeted the governor a couple of times, and I think I mentioned it in a tweet or a live tweet on my profile earlier. I said that the arguments because basically what's going on is this: the DOJ is arguing that Texas did not seek permission to install the buoys and the razor wire, and not only that, they cannot install them in navigable waters. Now, in reading the ruling and in reading the lawsuit and everything, what it boils down to is the argument that the Department of Justice, DOJ, the federal government has is because there was no permission asked and navigable waters. That's the only argument they're making. They're not disputing state sovereignty. That's not an issue at all. And because of the nature of the lawsuit, it makes these defenses that the state of Texas is proposing, because part of the main part of their defense is that because they're protecting the state's sovereignty, that Texas is sovereignty, and under the Constitution it has the right. The only thing is, the federal government's not arguing that. And when you file a lawsuit or you do a lawsuit in court, you usually present your case exactly what your argument is, and then the defense needs to argue on that or defend themselves on that argument. What Texas is doing in this lawsuit is it's the statements and the defense that it's giving is irrelevant to the argument at hand in the lawsuit. Number one, the Texas Governor Abbott, in a statement, he said, and it was recorded in the courts, he said Texas isn't asking for permission. Well, by his own admission in saying that statement, he is saying I put this stuff on here without permission. That blows any defense he might have about permission out of the water. That's the first issue that he's got with his defense. The second issue that he has with the defense is that he is saying that the Rio Grande is in navigable waters. Well, there were two documents were presented, I believe it was, in testimony, stating that the Rio Grande was designated as navigable waters. Now, the only way that can be changed is through Congress. Congress, as far as the records show, has not made that declaration, has not changed the designation of the Rio Grande. That being said, unless Congress changes it, as the judge said, courts cannot do anything about it. It's just a Congress-only deal. That's the second major hurdle or issue that Abbott and the state of Texas have with this lawsuit. Okay? Not only that, there's a number of different items in the lawsuit that if you look at it, you can see plainly where Texas is on the losing end, and there's really not much of a defense they can mount because of that. In referring, and I don't have it in front of me, the Twitter the comment that I posted, there was 4 points, and I think 3 of those points I've covered completely right now as we're in discussion. Now, Texas has stated, or Governor Abbott has stated that Texas will appeal, that the ruling is incorrect. I don't see how, and I don't think I'm not an attorney, but I don't see how, and I don't think an attorney would, I don't see how, and I don't think an attorney would say otherwise. Texas can say, prove that ruling is incorrect. Because everything the judge said in the lawsuit favors the federal government. Okay? The fact of the matter that the argument is specific, the defense that Texas is mounting about sovereignty is irrelevant to the lawsuit, and it is. That just eliminates any possibility that Texas would probably win an appeal. If they were to win an appeal, this is the deal. Because there's a federal statute and law that says that only Congress can change the designation of navigable waters. If the court were to rule otherwise, they would be violating the law. That's the kicker. And that was my 4th point. That there's no way that the appeals court can rule in Texas' favor without technically violating the law. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So that's a very, very interesting scenario that we need to watch and we need to monitor. What does the appeals court say with respect to navigable waters, and the fact that Texas is basically asking the court to change the designation. The court cannot do that because law does not allow it. So it's going to be, as I said, interesting to see how this plays out in the court. If for some reason the appeals court does that, as I said, the DOJ's next defense would be that the appeals court violated the law by changing the designation. Obviously, it goes to the Supreme Court, and they see this, they're going to kick it back, they're going to overturn the appeals court because they have no other choice on that one factor. I mean, unless they can separate the points in the ruling, but I don't know if you can do that. And with some law, you have a severability, but I don't know if that same severability exists with a Supreme Court ruling. We'll have to wait and see. So at this point, it's safe to say that, in my opinion, the state of Texas is fighting a losing battle, and unfortunately, who's paying for it? Texas taxpayers. Plain and simple. I'll keep monitoring, and I know all of us will keep monitoring this lawsuit for the appeal to see how it plays out. But as it stands, Texas has until September 15th to get all that crap out of the water. Enough said. Thank you. As I said, on the impeachment, I will get back to you. As you can see here, I have a 2-tone wall back here. I've been remodeling my office, and that's one of the reasons I haven't live streamed. But I thought with this particular live stream, I would give you a kind of a preview of the color scheme of the new office. And when you see this office finished, hopefully in the next few days, I'll be able to live stream once again with a little more comfort. and we'll talk about other topics at hand. Well, I bid you all a good night, and I'll see you the next chance I can sit down and live stream.